Yo. Oh my God. Hi, everybody. It's Maria from What's the Story with Maria. How's it going? We're coming in right now on the radio and we are Facebook Living. So this is What's the Story with Maria. It's on Armed Radio. So if you have your TuneIn app, if you're listening, you have your TuneIn app, you're going to type in Armed Radio and you're going to be able to listen to us from wherever you are, your car, your phone, all that. If you're on your computer, you're going to type in armeddigitalmedia.com, armedradioglobal.com, and you're going to be able to stream us. Now, if you're on Facebook, you're going to have the luxury of looking at our beautiful faces. Look at these hotties I have tonight. Who's luckier than me? Who's come in? Chris DePiero, our friend. Chris DePiero's coming in, comes in every week. Ed Kutu from Blade Salon in Rocky Hill, Connecticut. Suzanne Mason. Hey, Suzanne, how's it going? Dominic Pupa, Trouble on a Stick. I don't know if you know Dominic, but Trouble. Michael Vaccaro, he is out in Los Angeles.
Hi, Michael.
You know Michael. Michael, I have to get back to you about, Michael emailed me today. I'll get back to you. Paul Unson, I think he's in Kentucky. David Foley Jr., he's on tour with Les Mis. John Pandish, he's in New York. And those are some of our people that are coming on. They're going to be flying on. Okay, so once again, this is What's the Story with Maria. Tonight is easy on the eyes night. I'm just saying, I got some hotties. They happen to be talented hotties. So that's good for everybody.
I'm hanging out with you.
Stop.
No, I'm telling you, of course. So I have David Raleigh here. We've been friends many, many years. And the other day I was at the duplex because I'm getting ready to do a show. And I ran into David and Glenn. They were playing some music and rehearsing, and I'd never met Glenn, but I just walked in on his beautiful voice, and I thought, I have to get to know this guy. He's like got this gorgeous instrument. And then David introduced us, and John De Palma has joined us, also a wonderful vocalist. Hi, John. So I asked David to come on the show because he just did a Thanksgiving show last night. Friday night. And now you're doing a Christmas show coming up. So I said, David, you have to come back on. And Glenn is in town. So we roped Glenn in at the same time. I got two for the price of one, two hotties for the price of one. Ruby Rims has joined us.
Ruby.
Hi, Ruby. Ruby is famous in these parts.
Totally famous.
Right.
Love
and
Ruby.
Ruby has a show coming up. Ruby, type in when your show is, because Ruby does a lot of fundraiser stuff, especially around Christmas time. Tony Garcia has joined us. You know what, Don McPoopa, you see, why are the shirts on? Dominic, we are trying to get some information out there. Why must
I can tell you why mine's on. I don't know why.
You know what?
It's cold outside.
Thank you. We're keeping our shirts on. This is about music tonight. Dirty pants, Dominic.
But we're not wearing any pants.
Thank you. We had to do something. All right. So there's so much information to get out there. So I want to get it out and let everybody know what's happening. So this is the day before Thanksgiving. No, 2 days before Thanksgiving. So it's Thanksgiving week. Now you did a Thanksgiving show.
I did a show called Thankful.
Oh, wonderful.
At Pangea on the 22nd, Friday.
Which we were just talking about. We love, I haven't been there yet, but everybody loves that spot.
Great space.
Did you
great
go?
room.
Yeah.
He sang a duet with me in my show.
Oh, okay. That's where you folks were rehearsing for.
And then I sang a duet in his show.
Which was just happened, right?
Yeah, that is Sunday.
His Sunday.
It was the Sunday. Okay. And you have another show in New York coming up, Glenn?
I do. I am performing at Industry on the 30th, this Saturday, from 6 to 9. The Iris House is doing a big toy drive fundraiser to help support women of color who are HIV positive and have families and need help.
Okay, so this is a big deal. So
it's a big deal.
Yeah, that's a really big deal. And when he said I'm like, wait a minute, this is really familiar. And I've heard many, many great things about the Iris House. Also, it just dawned on me about maybe 15 years ago. The duplex used to, we used to do all these staff Christmas shows, and every year we would pick a charity. And one year we did pick the Iris House. So they were very nice and very grateful. And
there's plenty of artists on the bill. You can go to my page, Colton Ford Music, Facebook.
Okay, and that's COLTON
FORD.
Okay, Colton Ford Music.
Music.
That's the page if you want to go and check that out. So let me see. Jeffrey Campbell has joined us. Hi, Jeffrey. Jeffrey's in Hackensack, New Jersey, beautiful Hackensack, but he's from Arkansas. He's our
Wow,
Arkansas.
Arkansas.
That's right. Where were you? You were born in Cali, right?
I was.
I love California. It's
Yeah.
like one of my favorite states.
Yeah.
We actually met in California.
You did?
We
Yeah.
met.
Tell me about that.
Oh my gosh.
Not,
we met-
maybe not every detail.
Well, no.
Maybe it's not
That's
for
okay.
everyone's ears. This is a mixed crowd out here, you know.
We met at I was performing years ago. At a
Were
restaurant
there
in Laguna.
clothes
Were
involved?
clothes involved?
All right.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Well, you know, it's
Yeah.
California. It
And,
gets hot.
When it's necessary.
Right. I mean, it does get hot.
I was performing and we met and we sang duets back then, and
And how long ago was that?
that
Many
was a
years?
long time ago.
Yeah, let's just say many years ago. I love it. The more I interview people,
The more
the more people don't give dates anymore. I love it though. I don't. I mean,
Well,
I just
MTV was new.
MTV
So
was
how's
new. Let's
that?
put it
back in the. So let's just say back in the day.
Yeah, let's say
Back
let's
in the
say
day.
back in the day.
Okay.
back in the day.
And so now you, David. I mean, I've known you for maybe like
Yes.
25 years.
Yes.
So
Long time.
right, and I've always known you as a. I mean, you're self-contained. You
Yeah.
play for yourself, but you also have a trio,
I do.
right?
Yep.
You play a lot of different places. Now, are you touring anywhere this year?
Not this year. This year I'm staying put.
Which you,
I'm,
do you prefer that?
Right now I do.
Yeah.
I'm just doing my thing here in New York. I'm getting married
Oh,
next year.
Mm.
So
what?
I'm, being very.
That means you're off the. That's it. You're off the
Yeah.
block.
Bye guys.
That's it. He's off the
At
block.
least for the wedding.
At least for the wedding.
Yeah, let's just do the right thing. I'm telling you.
But
I knew this was going to happen. I knew it.
I don't know how
Thanks
this
for
You
coming.
know what it is? I know. You know what it is about David? David looks so innocent. I always
my
when I
goodness.
see David approach, I think, what a nice man. There's that nice man.
Well, look at
and
the smile and the
two-
dimple. I
I'm
mean,
telling you.
it's so sweet.
less than a half an hour in.
She's very kind.
I'm
She's seen
telling
me
you.
in very
No, never in anything bad. You just
I'm
you're
just,
you're very charming, David. That's really
Yes.
what it is. Am I right, Glenn?
Charismatic, yes,
Charismatic.
Yes.
There's a word in Italian that I love. My mother used to say it to me when I was a kid. Ruffiano. It's like someone that's really charming and gets away with murder. Kind of, because they're charming. It's like, you know what? I know I can see through you, but you're going to get away with it again. So anyway, and I love your music,
Thank you.
and
thank
I
you,
love your
thank you.
CDs.
Thank you. I didn't bring them today.
No, but you brought them last time, and I remember that we talked about them.
They're
now-
still available on
Yeah.
Spotify and iTunes.
Okay, it's under David J. Raleigh.
No, to David Raleigh.
David Raleigh.
David
Okay,
Raleigh.
let's spell your name, David.
RALEIGH, like North Carolina.
Okay, so if you're on Spotify,
Spotify,
iTunes,
iTunes, anywhere. you can
anywhere that
find
music streams, you can find David. Now, Glenn, let's spell your name.
GLENN.
Okay, and
Or you're talking about the
last
last
name.
name.
Yeah,
It's-
but Glenn is two N's. I mean,
Yes,
it can
yes.
Go, okay,
So
so if
when
we
you
want to
say it,
find you,
Just taste the N a little longer.
Glenn.
Glenn.
There you go.
I love
If
it.
it was one, it would be Glenn.
Oh, Glenn. Oh, I
Which
love
is so
that.
boring.
Yeah. Who wants to just be Glenn? When you can be
You can be
Glenn.
Glenn.
Oh, I love that.
No, my last name is SOUKESIAN.
And our producer asked if you were Armenian.
I am.
I love that. I said, I think he is. He has that look to him, right? That Armenian look, that
Mhm.
sexy look.
Dr. Shivago, that's Russian.
No, Dr. Shivago, I
Sorry.
believe, was he was Arabian, right? I mean,
Was he?
Saudi Arabia. Yeah, he was from Saudi Arabia, wasn't
Oh,
he?
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe
Yeah, I
so.
think so.
Yeah. I remember he was a pretty
My bad.
sexy guy. Yeah. Erin Cherry has joined us. Do you know Erin Cherry? Erin is a wonderful actor. She won an Emmy last year. And yeah, she has her own
Hey.
show called Erin with a cherry on Sundays with a cherry on top.
Nice.
It's a YouTube show. And actually I should hook you and Erin. I should hook you guys up. You would love each other. And you would love each other as well. Do Cook has joined us. You know DeQuincy.
Yes.
Quincy's a great singer. Forrest Hayden. Hey, Forrest, how are you? He's in New York. All New York people here. All right. So now, speaking of albums,
Yep.
you have a few albums yourself, Glenn.
Mm-hmm.
Tell everybody about your. Are they more spread out? I know, like I have two albums. They're kind of spread out over the years. Your albums were
Spread out over the years.
spread out over the years. And I know you started your career. It says many years ago.
Yeah.
Did your albums come one after another, or were they spread out over time?
Well, in the 90s, I had 2 deals with Virgin, and nothing was ever released.
See, that's the problem. With
I
that
was
stuff.
signed to Denise Rich and paired up with Frankie Knuckles, and none of that stuff got out. It wasn't until the 21st century that I started releasing singles, and then subsequently I started releasing albums. So I have a.
It's kind of the way to go these days, right? Everybody's talking about that.
So I did Tug of War in 2007, which was house, groovy, soul, R&B, but dance. And then I followed that up with another dance record, well, more dance-oriented record that was covers, called Under the Covers. And then I followed up with The Way I Am, and I worked with people from David Guetta's people to local folks, and
yeah, that's really
and
cool.
really cool, accomplished producers.
Now, your voice, your speaking voice is very deep.
It is.
And when I heard you sing, I wasn't expecting that range. You have a really high, a very beautiful higher, and it's light. It's a light sound. It's not necessarily, sometimes when people are hitting those notes.
Man in the sheets, a lady
Right.
in the studio.
Hey, what? What's happening here? You see, I'm telling you.
I'm a Libra.
Oh,
I'm
enough
balanced.
said.
I'm balanced.
Enough said. So is Judy. You know, my honey is a Libra too, and she's Cuban. Trust me.
Oh.
I know Libras. I've known many Libras over the years.
We are wonderful.
I know.
Mwah.
Very sexy people. Let's like more people have joined us here. Talk about sexy. Okay, so they want to know. John Roman Lars has joined us, and Leo Rodriguez, my accidental assistant. He started off as an intern and just he was too good at what he was doing. I had to start paying him. I'm like, this guy is too good. So, Leo, look at who I have here. I have David Raleigh and Glenn Circassian. Tracy McHugh has joined us. And yes, great range. Leo was here today with me because we were working on our merchandise. So we have merchandise. Who's calling now? Oh, no. I can't answer Greg Schlothauer right now. Greg Schlothauer is calling maybe from L.A. I'll get back to him. He doesn't know the show's going live. Okay, so, but today Leo was over and we were doing merchandise and getting all that stuff ready. And we were listening to your songs that you sent me on your,
oh, okay.
And then we just listened and I was like, wow, listen to this guy's voice. Because even when I heard you sing, maybe it was the song that you were singing was more contained in that range. But the songs that the dance stuff, it's got a lot. There's a lot of layers to it, and that's kind of the luxury of doing all that studio stuff. You get to layer. You have backup singers, right?
I do all my backups.
You do your own backups, really?
And that's for me. I love arranging vocals. So
wow.
And I tend to write top lines that cover my entire range. And
okay, that's really interesting.
And when I went and started studying voice, I was always up here. I was a first tenor, and my vocal coach helped me relax in my throat, which gave me more of a bottom,
right,
which thickened my top.
Oh, you see where we're going with this? I understand. So you
Just
have to work on your bottom and your top.
You do.
Yeah,
you do. So
David.
I'm not saying a thing. I'm
David,
not getting involved in this conversation.
No, we're talking about voice, for the love of God.
Yeah, what do you think?
I sing in the middle. I stay in the middle all the time.
Well, that's a good place to be.
Where are you
right?
at?
It's good to be. It's a nice, comfortable, happy place to be in the middle. But you have a very big range, David. Am I right?
I'd say that I'm a
baritone.
High baritone.
Yeah, I like that though. I mean, there's plenty of tenors in this town.
There's
a lot of tenors in this town. So it's nice if you have a little that middle stuff and really like a nice bass sound too.
Yeah, I sing. I'm really romantic in my music, and it's it starts from a growl to a whisper to a it gets high, but it stays pretty much in that warm spot for me anyway.
Yeah, but I love that. I love your sound, and I love singing together. We've sung together.
We've sung together many
That's
times.
really, really fun. And I don't like to do duets too much. I'm not really a duet person.
Wow.
No, you and Jay Rivera are the only two guys that I do duets with.
And I love it because when you sing a duet with Maria, she's always multitasking. So
I have
it's really,
to.
really
I
fun.
kind of got ants in my pants.
You're like, oh
That's
my goodness,
kinda
she's harmonizing and she's washing a glass.
Right, doing all my stuff or playing tambourine or something.
Crazy.
I do have ants on my pants. That's what the nuns in Catholic school used to say. Leah Sutton has joined us. She says,
Leah!
"Hi, you know Leah?
Leah, I love you.
You would love
Leah is one of the people that started my career in New York City.
Leah, I can't tell you how many people say Leah Sutton
She-
helped started my career.
Absolutely. I love her.
So, and that was in the early 90s, right? Late 90s, early 2000s, back in the day.
Back in the day.
Back in the day.
Yeah, I
Back
thought
in
we
the
weren't
day,
being
I thought we-
specific
No,
about
no.
those things.
Well, I mean, sometimes, you said 90s, so I was being funny about the early 90s. Maria Filiamini has joined us. She was at the Duplex last night. She's a great friend of mine. She's out in Jersey in the Morristown area. So Leah Sutton, we all love Leah Sutton because Leah Sutton is one of those people that when we were puppies in this town, and Leah had knowledge and opened doors that we had we didn't even know where the damn door was. And
she was amazing.
But also, there's a lot of people that open doors, but Leah was and is very kind-hearted.
Very kind.
Very,
Very,
really kind of took people in.
seriously, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't even have a career in New York.
Leah, did you hear that?
She started me off on the good path.
Yeah.
She used to eat chocolate cake and drink coffee with me all the time, but she doesn't. I
What's
guess
better than
she doesn't
that?
eat chocolate cake anymore.
No?
She told me last time she doesn't eat chocolate
You're being
cake anymore.
good, Leah? She was always fit though.
She
Leah was always
She's
fit.
beautiful.
Yes,
If you
always.
don't know Leah, she's a beautiful
person,
woman.
and I think she's out in Miami right now. So Leah, we miss you and we love
We
you.
do.
So shout out to those great people in our lives that see something in us and have enough love and wherewithal to give that push. Now you are working with a production company, right? You're working with
Sobel.
Yep. You want to talk about Sobel?
Sobel Promotions. So they're Barbara Sobel is an amazing record promoter, but she also has Sobel Nation Records, and I'm releasing music through her label.
And let's spell that so that
It's
we can.
Sobel.
Okay.
Nation. That's the label.
Sobel Nation.
And Sobel Promotions is her promotion company, and basically they promote dance music all over the place.
Okay, great. So Leo, if you wouldn't mind posting that would be amazing. Leo is on it. So now the dance music, explain to someone that doesn't know. I mean, there are people that are just working the jazz world or just, I know what dance music is because back in the day, I used to go to a lot of the clubs. I don't do that as much anymore, but I used to love it. And so that's a whole different world, right?
It is, but I've really integrated my roots, which are in R&B and soul.
Yeah, I love that. And I can hear that when you sing. I love it.
Into the dance. And this new album is really less dance specific and more soul, jazz, R&B.
Well, you know what? I totally got that from listening.
And the thing that's really cool about dance music is that you can take even a ballad and have these amazing remixers remix it into a dance track that then can get longer legs because you get into the clubs where people are going out and then they can go and find the original.
We're working out to it too. That's another thing. Not, whether you're someone that does really enjoy the clubs, which a lot of people do, or someone that maybe sort of not, but dance music, I mean, spinning class, you're working out. There are so many places that dance music is really, really big.
Well, and I think dance music has really crossed over into pop music. So you've got a lot of artists that have Rihanna's put out dance music.
Right.
I mean, Neo.
I'm going to stop you for a second. This is my honey, Eudania Mesa. She says, hello, gorgeous. Is that for me, David, or Glenn? I don't know. But guess what, honey?
I'll take it.
Glenn is a Libra like you. So we were just talking about, because my girlfriend is someone that she goes to spin. She loves to go to spinning classes. And she says it's always about the music, like who's teaching the class and the music that they choose. So you're the type of music that you record is like it's just great. So the vocals are beautiful. It's not just about a good beat.
Well, and you've got David Guetta, you've got Daft Punk, you've got a lot, Sia, you've got a lot of people that are crossing into these different genres of music because it's all cross-pollinating. Right. And
which is great for everybody.
Right. The influences are more than just, a tin can.
Right.
You've got a lot of soul and house music. It's full of R&B and funk. And, you know what I mean? So I enjoyed it. It's an extension of what I
got to tell you, and we were talking about this the other day, me and Judy in the car, in that, because, sometimes she'll introduce me to music that I wouldn't normally listen to. And a lot of it has that base of that dance music base, and it's so good now. Music has really, like, it's almost like it's gotten this like jolt of talent, because for a while there, I got to tell you, David, I mean, I'm sure you feel the same way. We went through a period of like 10 years where you're like, this is a snooze fest. There wasn't a lot of great stuff out there. But lately, there's just really, it's like people really care again about melodies and what they're pouring into their music, right?
And also how they're constructing their rhythm in the melody.
Right.
So you've got a lot of interesting rhythmic things that are going on in the top lines, and I find that really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely
Which
right
you can
about that.
pull in from jazz and R&B.
And also, there's a lot of Latin influence too.
Yeah.
Which I love.
I have 2 dance tracks on my album.
You tell us about the dance tracks. Tell us about them.
I have a song called "Get Up and Dance"
Right.
on my.
But that's a
on
dance song?
It's a dance song. It's on my.
Get up and dance. Everybody's getting up and dancing.
my
Glenn,
album.
get
I'm
with it.
confused. Can you be more clear?
And I also did a song with Billy Porter, Ari Gold, and Alan Cumming.
Wow.
And we did it for a charity of the LA Phony Center, and we did a remake of "That's What Friends Are For." That's what friends are for.
And where can people?
And, you can
is
get
that recorded?
Yep, it's on Spotify. It's not everywhere. It's
And
everywhere.
what would they type in? David Raleigh.
David Raleigh. It's called David Raleigh the Friends Project.
I love it. I'm
But
writing
it's
this down 'cause I'm
it's actually it's under my album Beginning Again, and it's Rami Ramirez, a friend of ours, did a dance track for it.
Friends Project. I love this.
And all the proceeds, if you buy it on iTunes, all the proceeds go to the LA Phony Center, which is exciting. They get that, that 22 cents.
See, I love that. I did. I wrote a song for the Ronald McDonald House a few years ago called "I Will Always Be There," and same thing. I donated. It's on
great.
iTunes,
It's
so if you
great.
buy it, they get the proceeds. That's
Oh,
a
that's
really
really
great
good.
thing to do. Although iTunes now is like, I don't know, it's up in the air. But anyway, I'm going to hashtag that. That's really
There you go.
great. Now, David, tell us about your Christmas show and what's happening with that.
Christmas show at Pangea, a really great little supper club, Italian supper club on 2nd Avenue and 11th Street.
I love supper
12th.
clubs. They don't.
12th Street.
There's
12th
not
Street.
too many of them left, are there?
There's not very many left. And this
No.
is not, I don't even know if they call themselves a supper club, but they are.
But they are a supper club, right?
It's a beautiful little
It's
room.
beautiful.
And I play there, and I'm having some special guests who I'm not announcing just yet.
Don't do it.
But there's going to be some special guests in my show. And I'm actually doing a real Christmas show this year.
I
I've always
love
wanted
Christmas
to do
shows.
a Christmas
What
show.
does the 12th fall on?
It's a Thursday night, 7 p.m.
Okay.
I know you're
I
busy.
work at the.
You
I
work,
know.
You work.
I mean,
I'll see
maybe
you
I
after,
can catch.
I'll see you after the show, as I
That's
usually
the
do.
problem. I work every night almost. It's like I miss all my friends.
But we appreciate you working every night, because every
Then
time
after your show, you
after
can
our show,
come
we can
see me.
always come in and see Maria. And
I
she's
know.
always
This
there, and
Friday,
it's
I'm at
very-
Brandy's.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know Brandy's
yeah.
still around. I didn't.
Brandy's is.
It's been
is
there
kicking,
forever.
it's
I haven't
kicking.
been there since Natalie used to sing there
Yep.
years ago. I haven't been there
Brandy's
since then.
Piano Bar, East 84th, between 2nd and 3rd. I love working there. I'm working there this Friday, which is the 29th, I think.
Yeah.
And then I'm working there December 13th. It's also a Friday. I usually
Wow.
work there on Fridays. I fill in.
Oh wow!
And I'm at the Duplex Monday and Thursday. But I see all my buddies after their gigs.
Right.
They come in. And then we stay open till 4 a.m. and then all hell breaks loose.
I've never been there that long. I don't know what she's talking about.
No, you never. You go right home and go to sleep. I never have to kick you out. I never have to say, give me that damn Stoli-O on the rocks. There, you can't suck another drop out of that. I've never had to say that to you. ever.
That's so funny.
No.
She knows my drink. That's
Yeah, but of
good
course I
thing.
know you drink. You're very consistent. I'm your bartender. Why wouldn't I know you drink? Right after all these years. Okay, so you said you're a jazz influenced guy.
I am.
Absolutely.
But
Growing
I'm a
up.
vocal jazz person. I'm not a jazzy jazz.
Yeah, but
vocal
you
jazz.
also played
You
beautifully.
played
Come on, Dave. You're not
piano.
a mean
Mean piano. He's really
But I mean, my focus in jazz is mostly
singing.
lyrical. Yes,
I
vocal.
am, but please, there's no way on earth that we could forget about your playing. I mean, we just can't.
Yeah.
And you're arranging and all
Thank
that. We can't. There's no way. I wouldn't just put you under vocalist.
Okay.
Now, so growing up, who would you say, what was the first, can you remember the first, my dad was a big jazz guy, and I remember hearing Dave Brubeck and thinking, what's that? Like really,
Yeah.
like what is that? And then he also loved Sarah Vaughan. So what's
Sarah
that?
Vaughan.
Like I just remember tuning into certain things.
Right.
But then you know who else I loved vocally? Andy Williams. I remember hearing
A very pure voice.
Right?
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
certain things that now as an adult I've forgotten about unless it comes up, and I'm like, that was something I really loved. So who was as a kid?
Yeah, very funnily, I didn't really listen to a lot of jazz growing up. I didn't know about it. I grew up in Seattle, Washington, so I was very funnily enough, I was rock based.
Yeah.
I was a Journey, Heart,
Wow. How can you not love
Kansas,
that stuff?
Boston.
It's all great stuff.
I loved all that kind of music.
I
And
kept the hair.
that's
I
the kind
kept that 80s
I guess
hair.
the first person that I ever really got me that I wanted to sing like, besides gospel people, which I'd grown up with, like Andre Crouch and different people like that, was Carole King. Carole King as a singer-songwriter was the first person that spoke to me. I listened to Tapestry for 2 years solid.
Yeah, and you know what else is a great album? Because I love Carole King too. It's funny, people, you have to really go back and listen to old Carole King. Like instead of like just the stuff that's commercial and everybody knows about, if you listen to like Rhymes and Reasons, that album, like her song "Been to Canaan,"
Right.
and certain
Right.
songs, like album cuts, are incredible.
Right. And her piano, the way she plays and sings was really inspiring.
It's
to me.
loose. That's
It's
why.
loose. It's chordal.
There's a looseness to it that's so pretty, and it's light and loose, but you can, and also as a singer, the way she plays, you can find where you are.
Right.
You know, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
very
I
true.
feel that way as well. Do you know? To me, the her match in this decade is Sarah Bareilles.
I love Sarah
Oh
Bareilles.
my God.
Sarah Bareilles could sing the phone book.
Oh,
and it would be, it'd be.
Did you ever hear her? And talk about it's a very jazz influence. It's called Seriously. You must both look. Everybody must look this up. Sarah Bareilles wrote a song called Seriously, and if it's from the point of view of what she thought Barack Obama was thinking
Wow.
after the election.
Wow.
And it's sung by Leslie Odom Jr.
Oh, wow.
It's gonna blow your
Yeah.
mind.
Wow.
And it's Sarah Bareilles on piano. There's a stand-up bass, and like just like
I
some
heard that.
some brushes. Mind blowing.
Yeah.
I get chills when I listen. It's called Seriously.
Okay.
It's really, really good.
We also have Al Jarreau. We have Bobby
I
McFerrin.
love Al Jarreau.
Michael Franks is brilliant.
Right.
I love Manhattan Transfer.
Oh my God.
And I was in a
How can
jazz
you-
quartet for right when the Linda Ronstadt What's New album came out. I was in a jazz quartet in LA. The jazz scene just
That's huge.
exploded.
Really?
Carlos
So-
and Charlie's, Hop Sings, Nucleus
There's a
Nuance.
lot of-
And there were two guys, my
And-
first partner and I, and two girls, and an upright bass and piano, and we were in tails. And I mean, it was
Wow,
It
really?
was oh yeah.
See, I love that. David's a sharp dresser. I love that.
He's way sharp.
He's way sharp. It's hard to keep up with David, isn't it? But
Nat King
Tails,
Cole was a big fun for me too.
Yeah.
Nat King Cole.
Nat King Cole was
Do you know
such an influence. I mean, in putting me.
Monroe? What's Monroe's last name? He's a great singer. His first name is Monroe. I'll think of it in a minute. He did a Nat King Cole show. He's a friend of ours from the Duplex that toured the country. He did a Nat King Cole show for a while, and then I think for legal reasons it had to be shelved.
Wow.
And then spoke to his widow and got that launched again. But Nat King Cole, I mean, how can? Oh my God! Let me just shout out some of our friends here. Matthew Bennis has joined us. Hi, Matthew. Kenny Holcomb. Hi, sweetheart. You know Kenny Holcomb. We love Kenny. He's out in Nashville. Leo has posted the Sobel promotion, which is great.
Nice.
Steve Lorenz has joined us.
Thank you.
Hector Garcia out in, he's from Miami, but I think they're in Kentucky now. And what else did you, YouTube? Okay. Stuff to watch on YouTube. Is that
The Friends of Fortune?
might be, I don't know. We can just click on everything. David Raleigh, Friends Project right there.
There you go.
Leo,
Perfect.
thank you so much.
Thanks, Leo.
Tara Connor Jones. your
Wow,
friend,
Tara.
amazing vocalist. Oh my God, you talk about pipes. Holy mackerel.
She sang with
Tara's
me
got
one
some.
time.
She when you were doing
When
the
brunch thing.
yeah, the
was
brunch thing.
Yeah.
Michael Barberi has joined us, and I think I saw Julie Cesari back there. Now Julie is an LA girl. You're an LA guy, right? You're talking about LA. I don't know the music scene in LA very well. I know New York. I know Boston. I know Chicago's really great too. San Francisco's got quite a music scene. So LA, are you still there? Are you still doing stuff there, or where are the places to?
LA, I just left LA. So
Okay.
I moved out to DC to be closer to New York. I was
Okay,
here
great.
for 7 years and went back to LA for a minute to take care of some stuff. And there's a rock thing there. It doesn't
Yeah.
really have a pulse to me.
I know.
Um,
And I wanted to, because I love California.
yeah.
And when I go out there, I want to feel connected, and I just don't.
Well,
It's
everyone's
weird.
in their bubble.
Yeah.
And everyone's sitting in their bubble 24/7 because it takes an hour and a half to go 10 miles.
I know, that's
I
the
did
thing.
some theater out there. It doesn't have the same. It's not as amplified as it is elsewhere.
Yeah,
And
things are kind of laid back.
it's film and television. And,
Yeah.
and I think it's difficult to get in there. You have to get in someplace else, and then you can go back in.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, you're right. You wouldn't maybe be discovered musically there.
Yeah.
I played in Orange County for years, and
How did you find
I
it?
found it was great building my career. But once my career got to a certain place, I had to leave because there wasn't
Well,
anywhere else to
Boston, I
go.
find Boston's
know?
like that too.
New York has challenge. You're challenged every day by just
Well,
the
it's
people
just-
around you, and
And
it's
and
such a
also,
great-
so let me just acknowledge George Hernandez has joined us. Hi, George. Also, George is Miami, and now he's living in Kentucky. I think George, if you come to town,
Kentucky.
he's an artist. I mean, he's a psychologist, but now he's doing this amazing artwork. So, George, we got to get you on the show. John De Palma, thank you. Monroe Kent. Do you remember Monroe Kent?
No.
You would love Monroe. He very deep, beautiful to look at, and also just this beautiful deep voice. Monroe Kent. Thank you, John De Palma. I appreciate that. So yeah, there's a lot of places like that. They're spread out, and you can only go to a certain place, and then you kind of plateau there. The thing about New York that I found is it never ever gets boring.
No.
Never.
Because it's like a wheel that's always turning, always. It's like, or you see those machines, that you watch, and then the
Like-
bulb.
like-
Yeah, there's always something happening,
Yeah.
and which leads to something else, and then someone else
and it
is
can
doing.
take you in different paths at different times.
And do you find that as well?
Well, yeah, I think the other thing, when I had my deals in the 90s, I always came here to create.
So you came here to create,
right.
and then you would take
So
it.
I was
That's
working
interesting.
with Frankie and Denise, Rich, and it was all out here. So when I got assigned to a label in 2007, I wanted to put myself, and the label was out here.
Right.
I wanted to put myself in this environment. And the thing that I noticed straight out is when I landed, there were all of these creative people that were coming in saying, I want to shoot your video. I want to shoot this
Wow.
for your packaging. They weren't like, what am I going to get paid for it? What am I going to get from it?
Right.
Everyone wanted to come together and do their thing because they were excited about the partnership.
Yep. It's
And-
about the work. I remember
Yeah.
when I first moved here, there was an actress, friend of mine, her name is Sharon Angela, and she ended up on The Sopranos and doing all kinds of stuff. But we were in a show together, and she always used to say that it's about the work. When people would say, well, I mean, I'm making this, and how much am I going to, she'd say, stop.
Yeah.
It's about the work. And if it's not about the work for you, you're in the wrong business,
Right.
and jump ship now.
And the other thing about it is,
Right.
these were all accomplished people. They were talented people. So it's not like, they were starved for work.
Right. That's what I
But
mean.
they
People
wanted
like to
participate.
collaborate in
Yeah.
New York as well.
Yes.
We all kind of like, hey,
Yeah.
well, you're doing something, or you're doing, or let's do something together, or let's do everybody.
And I love that.
I do too.
I love the collaborative energy.
Well, because it's like a painting. It's like all these different brushstrokes. It's like,
yeah.
and you never know what's going to happen or how it's going to end up. That's
Well,
how, right?
You
I love
got
that.
all of this talent, and the combination, the combining of that talent just lifts it to a whole nother space.
Right.
And
And then-
it's
Especially
palpable
especially
here.
in our world of cabaret singing. Let's put it that way. Sometimes I don't like that word, but
No, but
there's the thing about that is it can be very spontaneous and amazing. You can create amazing situations. in a
well,
moment when you didn't think something
I want
was
to talk
gonna
about this word cabaret.
Yeah.
There's two angles to it. What cabaret can be seen as, oh, you're just doing cabaret, but I agree with you. What's beautiful about cabaret is it's the most intimate
Mhm.
of musical art forms, and you have the luxury of being so close to your audience, and you can feel the connection, which is so
It's
beautiful.
great.
I love that connection that you have. You know, sometimes when you're up on these big stages, it's incredible. Wow, here I am on this huge stage and I'm performing, but it's hard
attached.
right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like this, especially
Yeah.
when you're in like stadium settings. It's like there's so much
Right. What
to
do you
take in. You don't have
right.
anything to really. And I also think, and I think
It's almost like a photograph you're taking
Yeah,
as a
yeah.
whole, the audience
Right.
as a whole versus a connection with one or
Right.
two people, right?
And I think most artists will tell you the most challenging environment to be in, to perform in, is an intimate environment.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And if you conquered that, then you can
Sing
do it
anywhere.
everywhere.
You're absolutely right.
But
You know, over the summer, I'm sorry to interrupt
Okay.
you. Remember what you were going to say. Over the summer, because it was Stonewall, the anniversary of Stonewall, the Stonewall 50. There was a couple of many great nights over the summer. But one of them I had the privilege to be invited to. They surprised. They didn't tell us who the guests were going to be. They just said, just show up. You have a guest pass. Judy and I went, and Sarah Bareilles showed up.
Oh wow.
It was amazing. She was incredible, and she was very comfortable. You could tell, very comfortable in that space. And then Taylor Swift, and I mean, she was so sweet, and she played, and she was so joyful and so happy to be there. But I was filming, you know, I was Facebook Living it, and I realized that she was visibly nervous. And you know, when I thought about it, Judy said, "Well, just think, you know, like for her, it's like." It's just a whole different, you know, people are used to being on these really big stages, and to be, it's true, like that intimate, here I am with like this small room full
Super
of people,
personal.
Right.
super personal. And that's what it is. And I really, it's harder than people think, but there's something that happens, a connection with like your audience is just as important as you musicians, as the equipment that you use, as the piano that you play. Your audience will change the show night to night, right? Do you find that?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. But that's the, you know, that excitement and that tension, and that is what draws it. It's what I love.
Yeah, I'm addicted to it
because you sit there and you don't know what's gonna happen, and you're totally, people say things, and it takes your show. It's great.
Yeah,
it's
I know.
Very
it's
organic.
exciting.
Whereas I think when you're talking about a bigger space and bigger production, it's more about the constructing of all that. Whereas when you're in a small space and it's a piano or tracks or whatever, and it's just you and the audience, it's almost like, you know, you've got all your neighbors in the neighborhood to come over.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
Yeah,
and I love that.
It's a big living room party. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Great.
And night to night, you don't know how it's going to change, right? It's just all these variables, musical variables. It's really amazing. I want to take, and then we got to go back to talking about all our stuff. I want to take a minute because we have reached the part of our show called "Go Ahead, Keep Eating." Now you got to do it with me. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Go ahead, keep eating. I love this. I love it. All right. So now, David, I don't know your taste, but I always send out to my friends and my guests. Do you have any restrictions, allergies, preferences? And both of you, much to my delight, said no.
Yeah, my only restriction is bad food.
Right, and it's not going to happen.
And that's not. He would tell me no.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Get ready, and I was like, okay.
So I have been on this low carb diet for a long time, and I told myself that I could go off it this week because it's Thanksgiving, and I'm just enjoying myself. So plus I know David loves Italian.
I do.
Right?
Yes.
So I made a delicious. Now this is just our model plate. Don't worry, I got tons in the kitchen. I made a delicious pasta. Let me. This is ziti, and I'll tell you what I made in the sauce. So I am one of these. I pride myself on this. My mother used to do this. We grew up very poor, and my mother would look in the fridge and say, "What do I got today? What can I make?" And then she would just make what she had. And sometimes I go out and I prepare, but today was one of these days I was doing a lot of stuff at home, working from home. And I was like, I'm going to run out of time. So this is what I had. And this was what I did. I sauteed some sopressata, which is like Italian delicious sausage, just like pork sausage. And I cut it up really small, sauteed it with onions, garlic, red peppers, Marsala wine, basil, and I just like super hot oil and seared all that, got all that going. And then I threw some crushed red tomatoes in there, and and then I put a little more marsala in there. Then I put a little bit of butter, a little bit of cream, and that's it. Let that simmer. So it's like a kind of almost like a pink sauce, delicious, beautiful, but with like a little bit of a kick because of the supersada. So that is, well, let me pull this up to, but I'm going to mix it all in. I'm heating it up for us after the show. It's going to be delicious. There it is. I don't know. I don't have a name for that dish. I just kind of created it. That's what I had in the fridge. Then I went out and, I love my salads, David. But David also loves my salads. So
Her salads are amazing.
I love making a delicious salad. Look at this.
Yum.
It is fall. After all, it is Thanksgiving week. So we must make something beautiful and fall-like. So this is a super greens, they call it. Super greens mix. So it's chard, arugula, kale, and something else. I'll think of it in a minute. I have a bunch of things that I put in there. And then croutons, baby cucumbers, dill, which I love in the fall. I love dill, celery, and then look at these. These are red pears. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, they're so great. So now I'm going to put a pear vinegar and an extra virgin olive oil in that, a little salt and pepper, mix it up. We're going to go crazy on this salad. David loves a good salad, like I do.
Yes, I do.
Now it is fall. We must have dessert. Look at my beautiful cupcakes. We're having cupcakes. We have chocolate and vanilla cupcakes, a little buttercream there. Fall colors.
Perfect size, so you can eat
Light
a bunch
size.
of them and not feel
and
like
I have
you're
more
doing anything bad.
There are no calories in mini desserts.
Right.
I don't know if anybody ever told you that.
It really is about the size.
It comes down to that, doesn't it, Glenn?
It
The
does.
two ends.
People have been telling me that for years.
David, am I right? Listen, this show size does matter.
It does.
And the size of these cupcakes are perfect.
They are.
They are perfect. So,
That looks great.
Oh my God. So that is going to be our dessert with something to look forward to. I don't show the food too early in the night because then we're obsessed with the food and we can't concentrate. All right, let's check on our people. Erin Cherry, that salad looks amazing. Thank you, Erin. Erin she knows her aesthetics. And thank you so much. I appreciate that. Oh my God, look who's joined us, Joe Gulla. Do you know Joe Gulla? Joe Gulla is a friend of mine, Italian, famous gay playwright.
Wow.
So you want to type in, if you want to look up Joe Gulla's plays, he's written many, many, many plays. Gulla. He's been on the show a few times. Great, super funny guy. Peggy Bauman has joined us. Hi, Peggy Bauman. How are you? Billy Goffey has joined us. Great musician and friend and wonderful friend of mine. Thank you, Glenn. It's true about the intimate spaces. Yes, thank you, Leo. So I want to talk about Leo's show because I directed it and it's really good. Leo's done a beautiful job. Leo does all our promos, by the way. Did you see your promo today?
Yes.
He made a little promo with both of you in it.
Did I meet him?
I don't think you met Lee. Oh, wait. You did. Leo, did you meet Glenn?
At the sound check.
Yes, at the sound check for our benefit the other night.
Yes.
You were there,
yeah.
and Leo was there.
That's right.
That's right. So Leo has a show at the same space at the Duplex Piano Bar. Not this month. Is it this Monday? Yes. It's this Monday, December 2nd, I believe.
Oh.
And it's called I Could Have Been Cheetah Moreno. And what it is
I love that.
it's great. His show is wonderful. Leo was adopted and he does a show about, he grew up in California as well. Grew up as an adopted kid, finding out you're adopted and fantasizing who his biological mom would have been.
Oh, I love that.
he and the show is about that. It's really, really great. And it's very poignant, but it's also extremely funny. And he goes through who he thinks could have been his biological mom.
That's great.
And really pulls musical theater into it. And it's just a great,
creative. I love it.
Beautiful, creative, funny show. So Leo, post the link, please. I Could Have Been Cheetah Moreno. If you want to get tickets, it's at the Duplex this Monday at 7 p.m. And then afterwards, we're going downstairs to the piano bar and continuing the party because it's Leo's birthday at midnight.
Wow.
Okay. Oh my God, Michael Woolley's joined us. We have to talk about Michael.
Could have
been Cheetah Moreno. There it is right there. So if you want to please make reservations to Leo's show. It's so good. You're going to love it. Michael Woolley has joined us. Now, you know Michael Woolley.
I do. We were buddies back in the day. Michael helped me get a show together in L.A. a couple years ago.
And I just went out to visit Michael in L.A. and stayed with him and he has a beautiful apartment.
Well, he should, since
and
he's a TV star now.
He is a big TV star in Toluca Lake. He's in Toluca Lake.
Oh,
Guess
Toluca
so,
Lake.
Michael. I can't wait till it's okay to talk about. We got to have Michael call in, or if he's in town. But I think I can say that the AJ and the Queen, which is the show that Michael is going to be in with RuPaul, he is starring. RuPaul is the star, and Michael plays RuPaul's roommate.
Right.
And it's really funny. He's told me some really funny things. I don't want to give too much of it away because I don't know if I'm supposed to. But January 10th on Netflix, it premieres. AJ and
That's
the Queen.
awesome.
It's going to be
Congratulations.
amazing.
That's
Michael
awesome.
Leon Woolley, and he's done so many. He
He's
does
done
a
so
ton
many
of
things.
voiceovers in LA. Also was the voice of Louis the alligator in Princess and the Frog.
Yeah,
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, he's really Michael does a lot, but he's also such a great guy.
he's a great singer.
I
too.
lived in Toluca Lake.
You did?
I don't know Michael. How come?
You,
Michael.
But that was back in the 90s.
Okay, well that's why Michael was here. No, he grew
No,
up in
he-
St. Louis.
but he was here.
It was in the
90s.
90s, yeah,
I
and
was-
did Broadway and all this stuff, and then moved. He just like
We
you
were
know
ships passing.
Yeah,
that's what
he did-
happened. But
he did
now
bunch of
you
shows,
know.
man.
Now you can find each other. See,
Yeah,
How
Toluca
that
Lake
works
is
out.
pretty.
it is pretty. I stayed with Michael because Susie and I had a little short film in a film festival out there, and so Michael was so sweet to both of them. Oh my God, he's such a good friend. All right, so now, what you gonna stay for a while? You have projects you're working
Yes.
on? Okay, tell me about. You always have a project. David.
I'm beginning the process of writing, or putting together a new album. I've always done, all my albums have been original music.
Okay.
So I'm going
And
to,
love your stuff, by the way.
thank you.
Very joyful.
And it's very, very fun to do that. But I think I really do. I've been playing in New York for so many years, like a long time.
Yeah.
And I've had the house band at the Waldorf Astoria, the house
Wow,
band at the
that's right.
Pierre, the house band at the Ritz-Carlton. I
Yes,
mean, I've
let's
been
talk
touring
about that,
around all
Jesus.
these places, and I do standards. It's what I've sung. And I think I'm going to do an album that is going to be my version of standards, the way my
I
arrangements
would
of standards.
love
that
that.
I've never recorded. I mean, I have many recordings of them from the clubs, but I've never
Right.
actually done a recording of them.
That would. I
That's
mean,
right.
you could do that in your sleep.
Yeah.
And there's a need for it now. I also find that like the younger generation craves that stuff.
Right.
And they really like, I think they don't get enough credit, but they really do love that stuff. And it's a time, Leo was talking about this today about how we're coming around again to the beginning.
Right.
People want to hear that. Maybe it's people like Tony Bennett that not reinvented himself, but positioned himself into a market that didn't have much of that going on.
Right.
So what do you think about all this, Glenn?
I mean, I think
How do you feel about it?
I think the broader picture is that we as a species are starved for authentism and truth,
Absolutely.
and honesty, and we're in the throes of some unbelievable shit right now, and
Oh
we
my
all want the
God.
truth, and yet we got people that are fighting that. So I think that translates into art, of course, and there was a period where we had a lot of production musically,
Right.
and I think now we're getting more back
Back to the
into the
basics.
organic,
Yeah.
and much to what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Even the rhythms that are coming through.
You're absolutely right
Yeah.
about those rhythms. And I'm going to pay more attention because I'm drawn to it more. I'm drawn to this music more now than I ever have been. And I'm very rhythm oriented. Like I love percussion. I play a little percussion myself. And I always notice it immediately. And you're right.
Well, and listen to like Alicia Cara
Mm.
and some of the other girls that are coming out now. I'll be over here.
Right.
they're-
Right. Well, even
they're-
Halsey and
That's who I was thinking.
yeah.
Yeah, they're
Billie
working-
Eilish.
Yes, they're working
These new
in
girls.
sophisticated rhythms, and it's interesting. It
Camila
pulls you in.
Caballo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and I love writing that way. I think it's exciting. It pulls you in. It spikes your interest.
Okay, so I want to talk about your writing because I too am a songwriter, and I know that what my process is, but we have about 6 minutes left. But so as a person, a songwriter that writes now has been writing dance music as well as R&B and stuff. Do you play a track and then create the melody from there? Do you have a melody and then put the tracks down? What's your process?
Well, and one thing I wanted to say earlier, much to like the word cabaret, I think dance music gets kind of
Yeah,
compartmentalized in a way
but
that
not
doesn't,
right.
because dance music is popular
Club? Would you call it
music.
club music?
I would call it popular music, contemporary
Okay,
music.
I love it. I mean, whatever you're
Um,
doing, I love it. So
Generally, my process is I work with producers who give me an instrumental track,
okay,
and I'll be listening to what they've laid down in terms of their progression and what have you, and melodies will start popping
right,
through,
right,
and
right.
then words start poking their way through while so I'll be singing and then a word or two will come in, and I'll start growing from there, or
Right.
I might go in and already have an idea of the narrative, like what I want to say. Sometimes I'll write a lyric before I have a track, and then I'll have to construct the melody within the track that fits the rhythm of that lyric, which is
Right.
another interesting way to approach it. But I really love letting the track speak to me.
Yes,
Let the
absolutely.
music speak to me.
You know what? When I did that that song for the Ronald McDonald House, this was my challenge. There was a little boy whose brother was actually at the Ronald McDonald House. He was from Australia. I know you've played in Australia, and he was a bass player, very super shy, and he had just written this bass track, well, like as a gift to his brother. And so the musical director there, she taught a lot of classes. She said, "Listen, I want you to listen to this track. It's so good. Kid's only like 15 or something. Can you write something off of this track?" It was just a bass track and electric bass. And that's what I wrote. So what you're talking about, I really relate to. And then from there, I listened to his story. I interviewed him and I interviewed his brother. And they have this one thing in common. They were worried about each other. Just privately interviewed them. Neither one of them was worried about himself. They were worried about each other. And I went with that. I went with, I will always be there. Like, so it was just interesting that you said that. You get a feel, in that track, because I'm sure the producer is putting their energy in the track.
Yeah.
And their intention, maybe not telling you what their intention is. And then you bring your intention.
Right.
Right.
And my boy Ron that I wrote a bunch of the songs with, he'll give me a track and he'll have a different idea of structure, and then I'll come up and twist it around. He's like, I never thought of it that way.
Right, but isn't that great?
I love it.
See, that is an egoless person, musician, because
totally.
you can't be a good writer and have a huge ego.
Right.
I mean, it's good to have a healthy, to be confident.
Yeah.
But no, ego will get in your way if you're collaborating, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, do you write with others or by yourself, David?
I do write with others. My last album, I collaborated with my producer. We wrote all the songs together.
Great.
The albums before that were mostly my songs, but still, even when I take my songs in with my arrangements, they needed editing,
Of
so
course.
you work with someone who.
But then
who
someone will
takes it
play.
through with
I
that.
love, like, someone will play a chord, and you'll hear something, or you'll want something different. You'll say,
Right.
try that chord.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's a whole, and you're right. Then a word will pop in.
Yeah.
I never worry about the lyrics until I usually have one line that I, as a lyricist, I build off.
I'd like to work more like that. I tend to write all at once.
Do you?
I tend to sit down at the piano and lyrics and everything I'm doing all at the same time.
Wow.
So it's very rarely
Very
rarely for me that I write a melody and then come back with the lyrics.
Really?
There are a few times when I've written a lyric that I think is amazing and it comes in my head in a loop of a melody, and then I go down and write the whole thing again. But then again, when I get with somebody else, we'll take someone else, I'll give it to someone else to look at and take over, and then give it back to me, and we'll start it there. But
the other thing that I found too that is really fun is when I'm hearing a melody, I'm just singing gibberish, but there are some things that come through and they may not necessarily make sense.
I call them dummy lyrics.
Yeah.
They just have to fit in the spot.
And what you're feeling rhythmically in that melody.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you kind of don't want to screw with it, even if it's kind of like a little weird. Like,
don't question it, because it's a channeling that's happening.
Right. And the rhythm and the way that it's being expressed in that melody, using those words, you can't really find that same intention and vibe if you replace it with words that don't give you that same.
I agree 100%.
Right.
And I've written with people, because I always write my own lyrics, but I collaborate on the music. And I've written with people, amazing people that I love. And there's this one particular person that I've written with who's always, not in a bad way, she just sees the world very differently than I do. She'll say, like, there's this one song I wrote and I used the word tugboat, that I felt like a tugboat. And she said, wouldn't a sailboat be prettier? I said, but I'm not a sailboat. I'm a tugboat. Like, so that doesn't, and you know what?
Yeah.
My friend Lynn, who's my musical director, she gets me, and she said, oh, absolutely. But my other friend that I wrote with, who was a genius, I mean, I'm not knocking either one. It's just that she is a sailboat. She's beautiful and very, she's very feminine, and, you know, like, everything's really pretty. And it's so funny because I agree with you. To me, I had to own. I'm like, no, I'm not. I have to own it.
Well, and there's grit and intensity in the tug. The sailing, it's
right. But if you were writing something where you were feeling light, you wanted that, right? But
I have a lyric.
Hey, Jimmy, how much time do we have?
I have a lyric.
A minute. Okay.
I have a lyric that was sublime in a song, and everyone's like, no, it has to be so fine. I was like, no, it's not so fine. It's sublime.
Right. It has to. Okay, so tell us about your Christmas show quickly.
Christmas show, December 12th, Thursday night, 7 p.m. at Pangea.
What's the name of the show?
It's called Joyful.
Joyful. I love it. And Glenn, tell us what your.
I'm going to be at Industry Saturday, the 30th, from 6 to 9. It's for the Iris House, a wonderful charity. There's going to be a bunch of different artists on the bill, and come out. And then my new album will be out in the new year. It's called Won't Look Back. Okay, and we're going to be posting all this stuff. Thank you, Jim Bell. We love and appreciate you. Happy Thanksgiving, Jimmy. Bye,
Happy Thanksgiving,
everybody.
Paul. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes,
we love and
happy.
appreciate you guys.
Happy
Come back
Turkey
next
Day.
week. Take care. Thank you.